So creating charts really just takes a couple of steps. The most time-consuming process of creating a chart, really there's kind of two. First one is picking the type of chart that you want. What's going to best represent your data? The second option, or the second most time-consuming portion, is the formatting. Getting the formatting to look just right. It's one of the reasons why I like the styles, because it's quick, right? But if you want to get into the nitty-gritty, you select your chart, go to the Format tab, you got all the options right there. Now, the first type of chart that we've created here was a standard 2D column chart. Let's take a look at another very common type of chart inside of Excel. Let's take a look at a pie chart. I talked about this just briefly earlier. Some charts are more capable or better suited for larger amounts of data, such as a column chart. Column chart like this right here, if I go back to my monthly budget worksheet, was able to display pretty clearly the columns that I have and each of the rows, each of the bills that I have. Now, I want to be able to plot this data or graph this data, but as a pie chart. Now, pie charts, kind of what I spoke to earlier, are better suited for a single axis of data, meaning a single row, such as a single bill, or a single column, such as a single month. Let's take a look at what I mean here. So if I start out, and I'm going to create a pie chart, I start out by selecting the same block of data. So I get from B4 down to E9. Same thing that I did earlier when I created the column chart. Now I'm going to go to my Insert tab. I'm going to go into Charts. I'll find the Pie Chart option, and I'm just going to grab the default 2D pie. I'll give that a click. All right, very quick, right? I selected my data, I got my chart. But what's different here? What are we looking at? What data is this actually displaying to us? Well, my chart defaulted to the rent bill. So I got a single bill. I didn't get anything about phone, credit card, food, my candy. It's not included in the chart. I got the 3 months, right? Got the 3 months, but I got a single bill in there. This is what I mean by pie charts. Pie charts are better suited, can better display, and by default it does, a single row of data, such as a single bill. It's got all 3 months as the labels and the data points, but a single bill. Now, what if I want just January's data, right? I just want January. Now, I don't want a single bill. I want to see a month and all of its bills. Well, this is actually a really simple process. If I select the chart, I'll go back to Chart Design, and there's an option for Switch Row Column. Switch Row Column. I'll give that a click. And now I'm looking at January and all of the bills within that month. Single button press. Didn't have to recreate the chart. Didn't have to modify it in some extreme way with the data source. I just hit the Switch Row Column, and now it went from the single rent bill to all the bills, but now I'm picking up a single month for January 2019. Pretty cool. Now, let's take this a step further. I got a single month, but it gave me January, and it just gave me the first month in that series of data. What if it's February that I want? I don't want January, I want February's data. Take a look. We actually saw this briefly earlier. With the chart selected, I'll go back to Chart Design. This time I'm going to go into the Select Data, same option we saw earlier with the column chart. I'll give that a click. There's my data range, right? B4 to E9, that grabbed everything. But by default, it picks up on either the first column, first month, or the first bill, in our case, bill, first row in that data. Okay? But I want February's data. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete that out. Boop, gone. I'm going to grab bills. I want all the bills. I'm going to hold down my Control key, and I'm going to grab February's data. So there's my new data source, my new data range for my pie chart. I'll hit OK. And now I'm looking at February 2019. Let's see, just to confirm, credit cards is 200. Credit cards is gray. If I just hover my mouse over that, it's going to give me a little screen tip, and I can see February 2019, credit cards, $2,000, and it gave me 12%, or it is 12% of my total bills. Very cool. Now the hovering is great, but that helps you zero with visual, just looking at it, and definitely doesn't help you when you print it. You can't hover your finger over it. That would be cool. If you could just hover your finger over a printed piece of paper and have more data show up, how cool would that be? That would be pretty cool. All right, anyways. But I want those values to actually show up on the chart. Well, to do this, chart selected, I'll go back to chart design. I'm going to go into add element, and there's data labels. Let's see, I'm going to do an outside end. I think outside end looks pretty good. There we go. Now it gave me the dollar amounts, which is great. That's great. What if I just want percentages? Well, if I right click on one of those data points, I'll go to format data labels. Inside of there, they give me several different options to pick from. I'm going to say, okay, got it. Let's see, value is great, but I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn on percentage. Now you could keep both of them on. I could have value and percentage in there, but I'll say I just want percent. And I want the, actually that's good. Let's keep that just as is, just percentages. Good. I'm going to close my format data labels window, and there's my nice little chart. So make sure that my big fat head isn't covering that up. There's my nice little chart. You can grab them, pull them out. I got a little tail that follows along with it just to create that connection. The more data points, if we had hundreds of bills, or even if we had like 50 bills in there, pie chart's going to get pretty cluttered in there with lots of different slices. Might be a good idea to even create multiple pie charts and break your data up just to make it easier to read. But we got a pie chart. Very slick. Change the data source, get exactly what you want, but a single column or single row worth of data inside of your chart. So try this out. Select the data. You can start out with all of it if you like. Remember, hold your control key if you want to be able to select non-adjacent rows or columns inside your chart source, and do your formatting. Call it good. Try it out.